How well do you know the languages of the world? Let's test your knowledge. Make sure to subscribe so you can travel the world with us every day. Let's start. What is the most spoken native language in the world? The most spoken native language is Mandarin. Which language is mainly spoken in Brazil? In Brazil, they mainly speak Portuguese. Which language is official in Germany? The official language is German. Which language is the most spoken in Africa? The most spoken language in Africa is Swahili. Which language is mainly spoken in Japan? In Japan, they speak Japanese. Which language is spoken in Argentina? The language spoken in Argentina is Spanish. Which language is official in Russia? The official language is Russian. Which language is most used on the internet? English is the most used language on the internet. Which language is spoken in Egypt? Arabic is the language spoken in Egypt. Which language is spoken in South Korea? In South Korea, they speak Korean. Which language is official in Mexico? The official language of Mexico is Spanish. Which language is spoken in Italy? Italian is the language spoken in Italy. Which language is the most spoken in India? The most spoken language in India is Hindi. Which language is spoken in Sweden? Sweden is spoken in Sweden. Which language is spoken in China? Mandarin is the language spoken in China. Which language is official in Canada? Canada has two official languages, English and French. Which language is spoken in Australia? English is the language spoken in Australia. Which language is spoken in Turkey? Turkish is spoken in Turkey. Which language is spoken in Greece? Greek is the language spoken in Greece. Which language is spoken in Poland? Poland is spoken in Poland. Which language is spoken in Iran? The language spoken in Iran is Persian. Which language is spoken in Portugal? In Portugal, they speak Portuguese. Which language is spoken in Thailand? Thai is the language spoken in Thailand. Which language is spoken in the Netherlands? Dutch is the language spoken in the Netherlands. Which language is spoken in Norway? Norwegian is spoken in Norway. Which language is spoken in Israel? Hebrew is spoken in Israel. Which language is spoken in Vietnam? In Vietnam, they speak Vietnamese. Which language is spoken in Indonesia? Indonesian is the language spoken in Indonesia. Which language is spoken in Ukraine? Ukrainian is spoken in Ukraine. How many official languages does Switzerland have? Switzerland has 4 official languages. Which language is spoken in Austria? German is the language spoken in Austria. Which language is spoken in Finland? Finnish is spoken in Finland. How many official languages does Belgium have? Belgium has 3 official languages. Which language is spoken in Morocco? Arabic is the language spoken in Morocco. Which language is spoken in Colombia? Spanish is the language spoken in Colombia. Which language is spoken in Hungary? Hungarian is spoken in Hungary. Which language is spoken in Romania? Romanian is spoken in Romania. Which language is spoken in Ireland? They speak both English and Irish Gaelic. Which language is spoken in Iceland? Icelandic is spoken in Iceland. Which language is spoken in Ethiopia? Amharic is the language spoken in Ethiopia. Which language is spoken in North Korea? Korean is spoken in North Korea. Which language is spoken in Pakistan? In Pakistan, they speak Urdu. How many official languages does South Africa have? South Africa has 11 official languages. Which language is spoken in Spain? Spanish is spoken in Spain. Which language is spoken in Peru? Spanish is the language spoken in Peru. Which language is spoken in Saudi Arabia? Arabic is spoken in Saudi Arabia. Which language is spoken in New Zealand? They speak both English and Maori. Which language is spoken in the Czech Republic? Czech is spoken in the Czech Republic. Which language is spoken in Denmark? Danish is spoken in Denmark. Which language is spoken in Chile? Spanish is the language spoken in Chile. You did it! You finished the Global Language Challenge. What was your final score? Let us know in the comments.